Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering how to enable a dark mode on Chromium on Linux. What this will do is it will enable a dark theme on websites that support it, such as Google, YouTube and GitHub. So normally if you come across to Google and you click the settings, you'll see there's a section here for appearance, and you can select light theme, dark theme or device default. And basically what this does is, when correctly set up, Google will automatically use a dark mode, as well as YouTube and sites like GitHub. I'm going to go through how you set this up because there's 3 steps to get this working. So the first step is actually going to be enabling a dark mode on your system, and we can do that by coming into .config, GTK3 and settings. So first of all, what we're going to do is open this file or create it if it doesn't exist. So that's .config gtk-3.0 settings.ini. And in this file, what we're going to be doing is actually setting the theme we use, the icon theme, and also a setting that it tells GTK to prefer dark themes. So first of all, what we're going to do is set the theme name. So in this case, it's going to be Yaru Blue Dark, and also the icon theme name, which will actually style icons. For example, if I open the file manager here, you can see these have got a blue accent because they're using the Yaru dark blue theme, icons rather. So these are the 3 things we need to set in our settings.ini: the theme name, the icon theme name, and GTK application preferred dark theme equals true. So once we got those set with the theme you're going to use, the next step is coming across to Chromium. And if you come across to the settings down here and then the appearance, what you need to do is click this little button, theme GTK plus, and what this does is this will then use the GTK theme that you've enabled for the window decorations. It will actually style the tabs and the header up here with that theme, but it won't change the actual page content to use a dark theme. That will still be white because there's another step we actually need to do to style the page content both in the settings and on supported sites like Google. So if you come across to the Chromium, the ArchWiki Chromium page, what you'll see here is there's actually a section here for dark mode, and what it suggests is creating a file called .config chromium-flags.config. And in this file, what you do is you have 2 lines, -- force dark mode and enable features equals web UI dark mode. Now I created this file and put it in .config chromium-flags.config .conf rather. And what I found was it worked, and then I opened Chromium again and it stopped working. So what I've actually found is, maybe it was just me, but this was actually a bit hit and miss using this Chromium flags file. And what this basically does is, if you open up Chrome and you come to Chrome flags, I think it is, yep. This is where you can set particular options for the browser. And I think, I'm not sure if they're persistent or not. So you can change the settings in here. So if we come across and we search for dark mode or web UI dark mode. So if we search for dark mode, you see it's set to default here. And what I'm not sure is if you actually change these settings using Chrome flags, if it persists when you reopen the browser. But this is how you can actually try the flags out to see if they work by sort of enabling them in here. And what the Chromium wiki and the Arch wiki Chromium page suggests, as I say, is creating this file with these options in. But what I found was it was a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So what I'm going to actually suggest is the way that I do this is by across to local share applications. Okay, so if I come across to local share applications, what I've got in here is desktop launchers. So what we have here is the Chromium_Chromium.desktop file, and in this file, this is the Snap version of Chromium, which I think is the only version you can actually get on Ubuntu. So in this file, what we have is a section called exe. So there are several sections in here with a line that says exe for opening a window, opening a new tab, opening a new private window, that sort of thing. Basically, all we're going to do is actually append those two lines to the end here. So what we're going to do is add force --force dark mode -- enable features equals web UI dark mode, and at the end here we have %U. So this is the first line of the desktop file. So if I come across and search, you'll see there are several here. So what you need to do is actually go through the desktop file and append these extra bits of code to each of these exec lines. So as you can see here, and these are for like incognito here. So you can see here it's saying -- incognito, and I'm also enabling dark mode on that. So you can actually enable dark mode on some pages and not on others. So you can enable it on standard pages, but not on incognito if you want. So just come through and basically add those two lines to your Chromium.desktop file. And I think from memory, I can remember where the location is. So snap, I've come across to my snap directory, Chromium. Can't remember where I actually found the. No, it should be user share applications. Okay, so I think the default location for the Chromium desktop file is going to be in user share applications. Okay, look. Yeah, okay. So there were two locations for desktop files. There's the global location, which is user share applications in your root. And there is also in your home directory a .local share applications directory. What you can do is actually copy the default. Here we've got Chromium browser. You can actually copy the default desktop file here, chromium-browser.desktop. So cp user share applications Chromium. Okay, and just come across to the desktop. Yeah. See, I'm not sure if that's actually the correct one, because the version I've got in my local share applications Chromium_desktop. As you can see, the one I've got up here, xsnap instance Chromium, whereas this one hasn't got it. So I can't remember off the top of my head where I actually got that desktop file from. It may be somewhere inside the snap. Let me just have a quick look. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay, that's it. So there's actually a different location for the snap desktop file, which is this. Okay. I'll put links to all this under the video, so let me just remove this one. So varlib snapd desktop applications chromium _ chromium.desktop. So that's the location for the Chromium snap version desktop file, basically. And we'll come back across to the desktop, and we open that up. Yeah. Okay, as you can see here, the file starts with desktop entry, then xsnap instance name equals chromium. So this is basically the file that we're going to override. And again, what we did was we come across to the exec section here, and if I just come across to my modified version, basically what you do is you search for the exec line, go through, just search for exec, and what you do, said after it says snap bin chromium, we're just appending these extra flags: -- force dark mode, enable features, web UI dark mode. And some of these lines will finish with a %u, whereas others won't. So I think the %u is for handling URLs that are actually passed to Chromium. So when you open a URL with something in it, it's going to open in Chromium. Whereas if we search for other exec lines, you'll see they don't have the %u at the end. But basically, the gist of it is all you need to do is add these 2 extra flags to each of these exec lines in this Chromium _ chromium.desktop file. Exe. So just go through and append those 2 lines. And once you've done that, all you need to do is actually copy that file that you've modified. So you copied the file from varlib snapd desktop applications chromium _ chromium.desktop. Copy that to the desktop, edit it, search for all the exec lines, add those 2 extra flags, and then all you need to do is copy that file into .local share applications. Okay, so you copy that file into that location, and you won't have 2 instances of Chromium showing up doing this. By copying the original desktop file into your local share applications, you'll be overriding how Chromium opens. So it's always going to use this version in your local share applications directory instead of the global one that we copied. So that way you can actually modify how Chromium opens each time. So once you've done that step, those are the 3 steps we have to go through. So first of all, what we had to do was come into the settings. We had to come into appearance, set the, well, this was the second step. We had to set the GTK theme in Chromium. We also had to go into our config GTK settings and enable the dark theme there. And then finally, we had to create the .desktop file. Once you've done all those 3 things, enable the dark mode globally on your system, change the theme here, and then created your custom .desktop file in local share applications with those extra Chromium flags. Once you've done all that and you restart Chromium, so if I restart Chromium here, you'll see I actually have 2 versions coming up, and that's because the second one is a version of Chromium I use with a VPN, so just ignore that. You will only have 1 entry for Chromium showing up. Now, if I now come across here, you can see that we have a dark mode enabled. If I come across to the settings, you'll see that it's using device default here. So other sites that this works on, obviously YouTube, sites like GitHub, and it loads eventually, so that's really nice. DuckDuckGo also. DuckDuckGo must come across here. It loads up eventually. There we go. Dark mode on DuckDuckGo. So there are lots of sites that actually support using the device default dark mode theme that you've got enabled, but there are just a couple of steps you've actually got to go through to get this working with Chromium. And as I said, you come across to Chrome flags, just come across to Arch Wiki Chromium again, and I hate this narrow theme they've got here. It's really annoying. But if you search through here, dark mode, yeah, down here, dark mode. So again, they suggest creating this .config chromium flags.conf file and adding these two in. You can try that, see if it works for you instead of creating a new desktop file, but I found it a bit hit and miss. It'd work and then I'd reopen Chromium and it didn't work. So I found that appending those two options to the desktop file ensured that it worked consistently, because every time it launches Chromium using the your application launcher, you know, like this, or opening a URL with another program and opening it in Chromium, it always is going to be using those flags because we've appended them to that desktop file. So it ensures that it's basically going to use the dark mode out of the box without any further faffing about. It's just that you actually have to go through a couple of steps to get this working. And again, the thing that had me baffled for ages was you'd go through, you'd change your dark mode globally, come to the appearance, you'd set it to use the GTK theme, and it would only change the actual tabs and the sort of border up the top and not the actual page. And that's where those two extra flags come in. So once you've enabled those, as well as the settings in the appearance and the global GTK theme, you'll get a dark mode. So you can actually try using these. I'm not sure if, let me just see if I search Chromium flags, this comes up. So Chrome flags. No, okay, there's nothing actually showing up there. I'm not sure that you can actually set these directly using the Chrome flags like that. So you need to basically either use that chromium flags.conf file or pin those options to the .desktop file so that it will always enable those features and give you the dark mode on sites that support it. So there's quite a lot of sites that will actually pick up the dark mode, as well as YouTube, GitHub, DuckDuckGo. I've come across a couple of others as well. But if you have a little search around, I'm sure you'll find sites that give you that option. And I'm not sure if there's anything in here. Themes, yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, it's actually using a grey, so if maybe it was automatically picking up the grey, the dark theme or something. I'm not sure, but it seems to work out the box on DuckDuckGo. But the main one that was really bugging me were actually YouTube and Google as well. So you know, just search for Ubuntu. It's just much nicer having a dark theme like this. And of course, you could come across, every time you open your browser and come across and switch that to dark theme, but that gets a bit boring. So I wanted something that would do it automatically. And also there are sites that don't actually offer a appearance picker. I'm not sure if there's one on GitHub, so there might be yeah, there might be something in there, but sometimes you've got to be logged in to have that option. But it's nicer just to have it done automatically for you. So those are the 3 steps you need to go through. Quick recap. 1, change your .config GTK-3.0 settings file. Set the GTK theme name. I'm using Yaru Blue Dark. You also want to set the GTK icon theme name as well. And what that also does is that will actually style the icons used in things like your file manager here. So instead of the horrible orange or whatever, you can have a nice blue. And then the other option you need is GTK applications preferred dark theme equals true. So that's the first step. Then again, come into the settings, appearance, set it to use GTK theme. And then finally, we needed to set those two options either in this .config Chromium flags config file. You can try it if it works for you, but I said I found it a bit hit and miss. So again, what we did was we came across, we copied this is for the snap version of Chromium. We copied var lib snapd desktop applications chromium _ chromium.desktop to our desktop file and to our desktop rather. And then basically we came across and you just search for all the exec lines. Okay, and this is the one that hasn't got it. You can see this is the one that hasn't got it. So this is what it looks like by default. Exec snap bin chromium sent you. Search again. See here. This is how it looks without the modification, and you copy that file into local share applications Chromium, and this is how it looks with those options added. So snap bin Chromium force dark mode enable features equal web UI dark mode sent you. And again, you can just go through and search all these, but there's no actual need to do that because I've already done that for you. So if I come across to my GitHub repository, .files, local share applications, chromium.desktop. So there we go. We got the file. So you can just basically come across, and I'll give you this link. Just come across, save this file, stick it in your local share applications directory, restart Chromium, and it'll have dark mode. It's just I wanted to show you how to go through and actually do it manually if you want to do that, but to save you some time, you can actually just copy the one I've already done previously. So literally, it's only going to take you a couple of minutes, if that, to enable the dark mode globally on your system, change the settings, and then copy this file into that directory, restart Chromium, and you'll have dark mode support on sites like YouTube, Google, GitHub, DuckDuckGo. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but if you were to do a little search, you might come across some that actually support dark mode, and it's just a lot easier on the eyes at night. So I did a video on how you can set this up in Firefox as well, which is actually a bit simpler. It's just on Chromium. There's a couple of extra steps you've got to do, and it's not completely obvious as to why, even after enabling dark mode, and then you come across and you go to the settings, you go to appearance, you set it to use your GTK theme, and all it does is actually style the tabs in this section up here. And the extra step you needed to do was to actually run Chromium with these extra flags, either within this config file or using the .desktop file in local share applications. Once you've done that, you're good to go, and you'll have no more eye strain at night. So that's just how a little video on how you can enable dark mode support on Chromium, because not obvious, and it had me bugged for a while. And again, I did read the Arch wiki, and try this way of doing it, but I found that sometimes it didn't always pick up these options in this Chromium flags .config file. So setting in your actual desktop file ensures that it's always going to be, Chromium's always going to be run with these options. So you're always going to have dark mode support. So that's all for now. I'll put all the links to the files and web pages under the video.